Hello everybody, welcome back to the FM24 Youth Academy Challenge with Folkestone Invicta, and in today's episode we're sort of starting off Season 12. We've got 20 games into the season, but absolutely loads to get through in this episode. We're going to be comparing the two tactics, looking at the PowerBI, and also generally taking a look at the 20 players that we released at the end of the season. Let's get into it. Yes, hello everybody, welcome back to the Save Fellow Managers. We find ourselves sitting in 14th, which actually isn't too bad. 7 wins, 4 draws, 9 losses, and a minus 11 goal difference, which is considerably worse than last year, but we're still floating around that mid-table sort of position. No lower than 18th, no higher than 9th, and everything has been bouncing in between. But yeah, we're in a pretty interesting moment because we're pretty bang average in League 2 at the moment, which is outperforming what our squad should be doing, and we are performing better than anyone ever expects. We're 500 to 1 to win the league again, being bottom, predicted to finish 24th. So overall, I'm pretty happy. So what we've done is use the last 5 games that we've played in a 4-2-2-2. The last 5 games before that, where I've then made a save point, was the 4-2-3-1. So we're going to go and compare and contrast both of those formations. But before we do that, let's look at all the players that we said goodbye to. So in terms of players that have left the club and found another club without just going on to a free transfer, Adam Beredetsky moved to Motor. We knew that one. Luke Johnson has gone on loan to Dover to try and get some first team football there. Daniel Koulibaly's gone on loan to Horsham. Michael Collins has gone on loan to Bishop Stortford. And David Henderson has gone on loan to Haringey in London. David Henderson, probably one of the better ones that's gone out on loan in terms of potential as well as a left winger. See what he can do out there. Michael Collins has gone as the goalkeeper, never going to get first team football with us this season, so has gone out on loan for some first team football at Bishop Stortford. Daniel Koulibaly has his second season out on loan, actually is improving quite a lot, which I'm happy to see while on loan at Horsham. So we'll hopefully still see him increasing his attributes and getting better. And then obviously Luke Johnson. But one of the more experienced players at the age of 21 has gone on loan to Dover, where he's not actually playing for them. He's played 4 times and done sod all. So it's not looking too good for him. Last year I actually played 30 games for us and got a 7.03, which is more due to injuries than anything else. Like injuries to other players meant he got a bit more game time, but they are paying his full £400 a week wage, so not too bad from there. Released players is where we get the most on the list. Elliot Moore, starting right back or centre back, has been released on a free transfer. His £900 a week wage bill or wages has been taken off the wage bill. Yet to find a new club for him. Beckham Wooden, the goalkeeper, has found a new club. He's joined Hastings. We chatted about him briefly in the last episode. Goalkeeping looked pretty good, but mentally and physically was just not there as a good player. Dan Jarvis, the other goalkeeper, has left as well. He's joined Berkhamsted. Probably wouldn't get too much game time if he was still with us as well. Luke Dreher has left. A bit of an interesting one. Did play quite a lot of football for us over his years, but at 22 years old wasn't improving too much more. Went on loan to Bedford Sports, played well for them in non-league, but yeah, wasn't ever really cracking it at our sort of level. Gubbo has left and he's joined Morecambe, which was fascinating. He turned down Philadelphia second team, LA Galaxy second team, and then I think it was Atlanta second team, I think, and decided to go and play for Morecambe. So he is at Morecambe and he is playing a few games for them. Morecambe are in our division, so we'll be coming up against Gubbo again at some times in the future, I'm sure. 42 appearances for us last year, 6.73, and has started relatively well for Morecambe as well. So they've got themselves a bit of a good player there. Peter Dean has left as well. He's found the new club and joined Daventry, but yeah, you won't know too much about him. He didn't have too much football. Luke Rice was the right winger that just would not stop moaning. He is still on a free transfer. Nobody's decided to pick him up. Davian Alcock, the left winger, he's moved on, playing for Olympic Gardens. So he's having a good time for Olympic Gardens. I think back in Jamaica, I want to say they are. Yes, they are back in Jamaica, Olympic Gardens. So he's gone back to his roots, which is cool. Adam Hill has left. He's joined Daventry as well. Another one player going over there. Sunny Sunday, the centre-back, he's moved on and joined Banbury, which is where my auntie actually lives in real life. Lawson Cackett, a very sort of highly rated attacking midfielder, but never really did anything. Still on a free transfer. Not seen any of him. Kai Alsop has left, and nobody's giving him a chance. The longest serving player, I would say, that we had remaining from the original team we took over. And he still made 36 appearances last year, but again, it now gets his 500 odd money off the wage bill, which is pretty good. Charlie Claylow came through, really highly rated. He's gone to Wingate and Finchley. Wasn't developing enough, wasn't really playing enough, so we let him go. Sammy Wooden, a holding midfielder that was just breaking through, but then with a review and the Power BI was sort of like, no, never really going to be good enough. He's joined Leiston on a non-contract terms. And Stephen Cooper, who at one point was our backup left back. Now I look at him and I think he is dreadful. And why did I keep him around? He wasn't developing enough at 18 years old. 1 appearance for us last year and a 6.6. So Stephen Cooper has moved on as well. So we have cleared the decks. And obviously there was lots of people the year before that as well. But yeah, that is everything. That is everybody that we can go through in terms of outs. While we're here, clauses. Still can't sell Michael Onyema's clause, which is really annoying, because they've actually given him a long-term contract now to 2038. So they've given him a 3-year deal, and we still can't sell that 50% of his next transfer clause, which is really irritating, because it would probably be around about, 400k maybe? I mean, it could be anything. That's quite a large bracket. He did have a little bit of interest in him as well from some other clubs, so I thought they may actually sell him, but they didn't. And yeah, I'm still keeping an eye on it to see if we can sell him. But with 20 players leaving the club, let's dive into the Power BI and see what that's saying. So looking at the squad review, not too much change in terms of starting 11. Some interesting players are popping up though. Richard Evans now as a holding midfielder is an interesting option. Luke Belwick at left back, interesting one as well. Junior Ward at centre back is something we're going to touch on. He is our best target forward and best centre back at the club. So yes, and I've been using him at centre-back, so we'll look at that in a minute. Richard Evans at right-back, obviously Adam Cross can play ball-playing defender, also Segundo Volante. Piekarski is now officially the best goalkeeper at the club. And then we've got Blair Gemmell being the best in both positions on the left if needed. Christian Emmanuel attacking midfield, Lexi and Blair Gemmell on the right, and then Lexi up front with Junior Ward as well. But we are, again, slowly getting rid of the worst personalities from the club as well. The good personalities are pushing their way through, which is pretty decent. In terms of positions, you can see there, very quick overview of who's best where, and there's quite a number of columns that have the best players all at the top, so it sort of is showing that our better players are much better than everybody else and can play multiple positions better than everyone else. But the players ranked is probably the most important one that people like to look at because of this little thing down here if I move my head. But you can see 46 players down from 66 at the end of last season, and a few that probably aren't going to make it very well. 19-year-old Rock Kotnik out on loan last year, in and around the first team this year, but probably will be released on a free towards the end of it. Christopher Knight's up there, but they're only 17, so we'll give them a little bit of a chance. Lucas Hole being there is interesting because he came through as like the diamond in the diamond of the golden generation only a couple of years ago. So yeah, we're going to keep an eye on him as well. Seth Osler, a mercenary, 17 years old, holding midfield or anyway through the middle. Again, came through a very high promise, but didn't really take into account. He hasn't really pushed on, Seth Osler. We've actually given him a couple of first team games as well, and he hasn't made the most of it. And then into the squad data for the first 20 games of the season, we've scored 31 goals. Blair Gemmell's the top scorer, and Ollie Lewis is up there with the most assists. The most creative player is actually Richard Evans from right back, which is quite interesting. Lexi with the best non-penalty XG, Blair Gemmell with the best average rating overall. Daniel Koulibaly out on loan has the best pass completion. Rennie Besant with the best tackles per 90 from left back, and Adam Cross is winning the most headers. But our average age for the first 20 games of the season has dropped from what was around about 22 years old down to 18.8, so basically 19 years old. So we are giving a lot more youngsters game time this year, which is an interesting thing to analyse. But anyway, that was a quick look at the Power BI. Not too many of the new youngsters breaking through into the excellent sort of top 5 of players, I would say. A big shout out to whoever left the comment to say that there is a regen of Scott Lloyd in there. That made me laugh. I will get reply to all the comments as soon as I can from the YouTube stuff. But yeah, no real youngsters breaking through, which means if we can keep this 11 if we can keep our starting 11 pretty fit, I think we're going to be okay this year. So diving back into the game, we go back to the schedule. And as I said, we've actually been playing this and saved it at a specific point. I did save it at 15 games into the season. I thought, let's use this as a chance. I said in the last video, we're going to try and compare both tactics. So that is what we've done. So if we get rid of all the competitions at the moment and just put the league on, so League 2, you can see we have started with the 4-2-3-1 at the start of the season, and it's not too bad. It generally is when we beat teams, we play very, very well, but when we lose, we concede quite a lot. So we've got a 4-2 loss at the start of the season, 4-0 loss, 6-1 loss, 5-1 loss, 3-0 loss, another 3-0 loss in there as well. So what I've done is I've actually taken a point where we played these 5 games, created a different save file, and then we've played 5 games with the 4-2-4 primarily. Obviously I have changed it, and you can see here where it just says you adapt, and it tells you the different formations you use. And we're going to have a look at chances created and what's happened like that. And I thought we'll take away the cup games, because the cup games can be a little bit different. And the reason by doing this is because you can actually dive into the data hub and look at the last 5 league games. So just as a comparison, and this is where it gets a little bit difficult. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's everything from Rotherham onwards, right? If we look at that, we have 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. If we look at the 4-2-4, we have 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. So, in terms of the actual results, they're identical. Absolutely identical. The only difference is that we had 3 home games, or 4 home games, actually, in the 4-2-3-1, and 3 away games and 2 home games in the 4-2-4. So you could argue that should favour the 4-2-3-1. Playing at home does give you an advantage in Football Manager, but we still match the same results. Goal difference-wise, we've got 2, 4, 5... it's boosted by that absolute demolition of Stevenage. So 9 goals for, 5, 8, 10, 11 goals against. So -2 in terms of the 4-2-3-1. And then we've got 4, 6, 7, 9 goals scored and 4, 7, 9 against in the 4-2-4. So a goal difference of 0. So at the moment, I would say the 4-2-4 is looking like it's a better system for the players we're using in this division. But we can dive into the data hub, and we're going to look at team performance, and we're going to look at the last 5 matches. It is in all competitions, which is a little bit annoying. I actually thought I'd change that to be not all competitions. Where did I see that before? Is it analyst report? No, that's this, which is, again, useless. 50 matches doesn't give us a chance to actually look at things. You can do it in here and go domestic league matches for all, but that's not very helpful. Last 5 matches. Can I look at this? This is something that's pretty useful, right? You can see how we're doing. The results are up here. You can look at the games in a little bit more detail. But generally what I wanted to do was look at the, not the analyst report, the team performance, and look at the last 5 games played. So I know the last 5 games played with the 4-2-2-2 are these 5 games. So we should have had an expected goals of 8.8. We've scored 7. That can't be right, because I just worked it out to be 9. This is not going how I thought it was. I swear you could do it for... I swear I did this and looked at just the last 5 league games, which is at last 5 matches. This is the problem with the data hub. The data hub is so bad that you can't actually see what you want to see. It's very, very annoying. It's very annoying. So our last 5 matches... Oh, is it Bristol Rovers was in the cup? It was. Bristol Rovers was in the non-Johnson Paint Pizza Express Papa St John's Trophy, which is what's skewing the data that I actually want to look at. So this is sort of ruining what I actually wanted to do. And therefore I hate the data hub, and I always have had data hub. It would be a good time to plug the video I did with Bust the Net about the data hub, which is basically slates it, because it is generally quite rubbish. But so I wanted to look at last 5 matches and look at the actual shots we've had, but then not look at... I want it to just be league matches. This is really irritating. I swear I did it. Was it just this one? I don't know. We can look at league things here, though, so you can see all through the season we are having some aggressive shooting and wasteful shooting, which I think is the 4-2-3-1 doing that, creating lots of bad opportunities. Well, poor opportunities, and we're taking a lot of shots, which I think is is a bit of a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we'll look at the actual data in the games, because I still want to make this a bit of a data episode. So yeah, it was the Bristol Rovers game. If I put the filter on for all competitions, you'll see that in here's a Bristol Rovers game that I wanted to cut out there, 2-2. That's the only one I wanted to cut out. And then the FA Cup first round, we did a 4-2-3-1 and won that one as well. But that will now be coming into it. So we'll just look at the league games. So we'll take a little... Let's have a look, shall we? So the 4-2 loss here to FC Halifax. Let's dive into the data and see what we do. So we played the 4-2-4. We've actually done not too bad. I want to look at shots. And I want to look at... Yeah, we'll look at all the shots. That's not a problem. Annoyingly, I want that thing that tells you, like, how good they were. So let's look at Folkestone only. We had 2 shots that were goals, 6 off target, 3 were saved, 4 block shots, 5 on target, and that would give us if we look at the summary, an XG of, we were away, 2.65, so not too bad, to be honest. In fact, it's this shot map. This is exactly what I want to look at here. So we created two really good chances that ended in goals right in front of the net. We had a couple that we've missed here: 0.05 xG, 0.04, 0.06, 0.04. 0.22 from Massimo was a good save from the goalkeeper. We had a block shot there as well. A shot off target for 0.32. So this system does create good chances in the penalty area, and it is sort of restricting the opposition as well. Now, Halifax are a decent team, and we've sort of matched them in the 4-2-4. It does depend on getting crosses into the box, and you need a big man up there or a physical, aggressive striker up there. But you can just see here, we're looking through, and we're not giving up too many bad chances. I mean, they scored from a 0.1 XG chance. We saved that one. They've scored from a 0.15 XG chance. And a lot of it will come down to just generally their players being better than what is our goalkeeper. But yeah, 0.79 XG chance that ended in a goal there as well. So we are creating good goal-scoring opportunities with the 4-2-4. And albeit maybe not as many. If we look here, 15 shots, 5 on target, an XG of 2.65. Let's take one of the random 4-2-3-1 games, which what did we do against Halifax? We lost 4-2. So... maybe the 3... Let's take a draw just to mix it up a little bit against Bromley. 9 shots on target, 9 shots, 4 on target, a 1.49 XG. If we go and have a look at the analytical data in here, the summary for some reason isn't loading. There we go. It's just got to load into the game. So yeah, this is a bit more all over the place than what I would have liked to have done. But yeah, so the shots here, this is us here. So Seth Osler actually scored 0.45. 0.26 for Richard Evans, a block shot from Christian Shoibu for 0.34, an off-target shot for 0.21, but generally not as many chances. And defensively, look at these chances we've given up here in the middle. Off-target, but they really should be scoring or hitting the target from in front of the net here. Like, we give up a lot of chances in the 4-2-3-1. It is more aggressive, and I could reduce that a little bit. But yeah, look at it's just the options they have in the box, and this is a game we drew as well. This is a game that we drew, which, you know, Bromley were the better team, so it's not really. And I would say Bromley are weaker than FC Halifax when we compare those two. So let's take a win. So Southend away, we beat them 4-2, 16 shots, 6 on target, 2 for Junior Ward, who started, if I remember this game rightly, started at centre back and finished up front. If I remember this game, because he does give us that variability of allowing us what to do. But he has been, by the way, an absolute revelation at centre-back. He has been absolutely brilliant. But yeah, in this one, look at what we restricted Southend to do. So they scored from a 0.23 XG. They've had like little chances here, 0.09, 0.03. A goal there, 0.1 XG. So you probably blame the goalkeeper for that one. But yeah, really restricting them to chances, and what we create in the box is brilliant. So like loads of good chances, loads of high XG chances. That's a shot saved. 0.08 actually isn't a good example, but 0.1, 0.11. We've got a few here. 0.15, 2 opportunities here. 0.02. So a lot of them are headers. It does reduce your amount of XG with headers, but yeah, again, all in the box, creating decent half chances in there, which I do like the look of. So that was the 4-2-2 win. And then let's go and have a look at the result against Stevenage. A 4-0 win over Stevenage, 19 shots, 12 on target. It must be said, Stevenage are bottom of the table and looking pretty damn rubbish, to be honest. But if we look at the analytical data in here, we just let it load up, obviously. And then once it's in here, you'll see. So Stevenage really didn't create very much, but they did still create some very good chances in front of that. I mean, that's an absolute shocking effort from Gesture if he's missed from there with 0.66. But again, yeah, we did create quite a lot. So there's an argument to suggest that against the very weak teams, the 4-2-3-1 may be better. But in general games, I think the 4-2-4 suits us, or the 4-2-2-2, whatever we want to call it. It's an interesting one because it's a limited sort of collection you can look at. So maybe if we look at, I mean, how many games is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, well, we've played 20 games. I'm being an idiot. So that's 15 there. So we've played 20 in total. If we can get to a point in the data hub which allows us to look at the analyst performance and have 50 matches being half in a 4-2-3-1 and half in a 4-2-4, that might give us a little bit of a better understanding. The numbers here, obviously it's very skewed, because we used 82% of the times for the 4-2-3-1 is a -7 clear-cut chances. So we're having more chances against us than we are creating for us. And obviously only 17% for the 4-2-4. We are better at creating more chances. It is a more defensively stable system. And in theory, it uses more of our better players more often. And I do think as an underdog, you should really, really have 2 strikers. But yeah, we'll have to let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down below, because that is it hasn't gone as I wanted it to do to show you what I wanted to show you. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, yeah, what I wanted to do right was last 5 matches. No, not the last 5 matches. Coming to team performance and look at the last 5 comps, and you can see expected goals 8.82. We've scored 7, 52 attempts, and it's not too bad. And then I was going to load. I'll still do that. I'll load up the other game, and we'll see that shot map for the 4-2-3-1 as well. So remember, 7 goals from 8.82 is the main takeaway with 52 attempts. Okay, so strangely, we've gone back in time just before we play Southend when we moved into the 4-4-2-2. The last game was the 3-0 win over the FA Cup, in the FA Cup over Colchester, which is going to skew the results a little bit in the data hub. So if we go into team performance, you can see here we've scored 10 from an expected goals of 7.77 with 63 attempts. But we have played Colchester and Stevenage in those 5. But, so yeah, we expected goals of 7.7. So the actual 4-2-4 should have had more expected goals. I wrote it down at 8.8. So basically 1 extra goal. But the 4-2-3-1 outperforms its XG, whereas the 4-2-4 wasn't. It was 7 goals from 8.82, I think that was the way around, is it? Generally more attempts happening in the 4-2-3-1 as well, for a very quick comparison. It's 63 here, it was 52 with the other system, but again, it takes into account, right, these massive games. It takes into account the 3. If I could get rid of this one, where we've also missed a penalty, which is huge for XG as well, but yeah, it's just annoying. It's annoying that it's not showing what I want it to show, because the Stevenage result I think is fine, but the Colchester one is a little bit annoying. I guess you could argue it takes in Bristol Rovers for the 4-2-4, but yeah. Anyway, that's sort of put a little bit of a spanner in the works of what I was actually trying to show you. But as you can see, I did Holiday and Academy. Ignore the fact that one's called Intake Day, Holiday and Academy. I don't holiday the game. If I do, I only holiday the summer when we're going through it, so I can just wander off and go and do some other stuff around the house. But yeah, there we go. But that's about it. That's what I wanted to touch on in this episode. No gameplay, nothing like that. The squad are doing pretty damn well in terms of goal scorers. It's 10 for Blair Gemmell, 4 for Omarovic, 3 for Berwick. Quite a few people on 3. Assist-wise, Ollie Lewis with 9. Rennie Besant up there with 6 as well. Average rating-wise, Omarovic is a 7.3 from 6 games, which is pretty good. Rock Kotnik doesn't count because he's only played 1 sub-appearance. And Blair Gemmell's got a 7.06 from 15. Yeah, Junior Ward, just to touch on him, playing really well. He's got a 7.01 at centre-back and a 6.5 up front. So he is doing very well at centre-back. We are now training him to be a centre-back because he's having a very, very good time of it back there. And we'll see how he develops. But that is one where the Power BI has told me that he's one of the best centre-backs at the club. So we're chucking him back there, and he's doing a really good job. His physicality, his mentals are really helping him out. And it sort of does pay to show, right? It's not pay to show. It is sort of showing that, tackling, marking generally don't matter, because he hasn't given away any penalties yet. He's not done anything badly. He's just playing at centre-back and doing a pretty good job of it. So, yeah, there we go. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back for the next episode where we'll come back. Probably might be youth intake day, because I don't think much is happening in this season. And we'll tune then. Oh, quick touch on something. Finances-wise, we're looking a lot healthier. We got our cash payment, our parachute payment thing, or whatever it's called, that you get for just being in League 2, and then we got the TV money this year, so it's been a very good, healthy increase. We are still losing quite a lot of money, but I think we're going to be in a decent position to get through to the end of the season. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.